Good morning, all of you. So it's a great pleasure for me to come and handle a session on interview skills. So now I'm going to talk to you about interview skills for the next 1.5 hours. Okay. What is a skill? Skill and riding a bicycle is a skill. What does it mean? You are a skilled driver, I'm saying. So what it means, you have learned something which can be used throughout your life. You are learning something, some artful thing, something that is a knack. It can be a technique, technology, it can be something, it can be anything. Communication is a skill. Communication is a skill means I wanted to talk to you something. I have something in my mind. Okay. I want to bring that to your mind like what is there in my mind. That is called as communication skill. But the skill means something that you have learned in such a way that you can use it anytime in your life. Okay, here in this class, I am going to talk to you about interview skills. That means, in very simple terms, what I mean by all these things is that I want you to perform well in interviews. Have you ever noticed that I have been the head of placements and I've been into training for nearly 18 years. Okay, so for the last 18 years, I've been teaching students, I've been training students on how to get through interviews. And many of my students are now working as software engineers, vice presidents also in big companies. Okay, now what I mean by this is that why I'm telling you all these things is that I am planning to give you a lesson which you can use it throughout your life. Point number one. Second thing is that I want you to know how the best you can perform in interviews. Why you are selected, why you are rejected. So many people are attending interviews, right? In that, only a very few people are getting selected. Right? I will not be teaching you the in this particular session. This is not my scope. I will not be teaching you how to reach an interview. To reach an interview, you need to clear your aptitude written test. You need to clear your group discussion rounds. You need to clear all the other things. And finally, you sit in front of an interview. Okay? How you are going to perform well in such a way that you are going to clear these interviews. Is that clear? So, this is what is interview skills. This requires a very important things, because in the interviews, people who are coming for the interviews are those who are shortlisted in the first two rounds. A company does not conduct interview for everybody. What they do, a company, what they will do is that if they require people, especially freshers, they will invite you to write an aptitude test. If you have cleared the aptitude test, if the number of students who have cleared the aptitude test is good in number, what they'll do is they'll conduct group discussions. And the final stage is interviews. So the people who reach the interview stage are the excellent people, are good people who have already covered a lot of other stages. So interview is a very good competition where you should perform well. Is that clear so far? So before I go into detail about how to interview skills, I'll give you a brief introduction about myself. Okay, my career, my job, what are the things I have done, and how I am now, what I am now. Okay, I've completed my BTech and MTech from Cochin University of Science and Technology, Cochin, in the year 2001. Okay, further to that, I've done my MTech in Communication Systems. I've been a trainer, placement trainer for several companies. I've done training programs in IIT Madras, Anna University, Chennai, Anna University Coimbatore, and I've conducted several training programs on placement training in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Okay, currently I am the HOD of Computer Science and Engineering in Isha College of Engineering and Technology. I'm heading the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So I'm very much connected with the computer students because we already had some interaction in the earlier sessions. But all of you others, apart from these computer science students, all of you are a bit new to me. Okay, so if you have any clarifications regarding my career, you can ask me. My first job was as a resident engineer in Konkan Railway Corporation Limited. I was into signaling. Basically, I am into an electronics and communication engineer, so we do those railway signaling process using these relays. Those days we did not have our communication systems this well developed. So this particular session, I will be giving you some tips. This is not a class. This is not a lecture. What is a lecture is that a person keeps on giving you information, you take information in your head, you try to apply it. Those things are called lectures. So here, I don't intend to give you a lecture on interview skills. But what I intend to do is that I interact with you so that I want you to get yourselves improved. I wanted to bring a change in your personality. Your career is directly proportional to your personality. What you are there in your mind is what you become. Am I right? So your personality will reflect in here. You can be good leaders. You can become good leaders. When you feel that you are a leader inside you, leadership skills are essential for career development, obviously. Okay, so here I am going to some tips on how you can perform well in interviews. Okay, there are no rights and wrongs. That means there is nothing that it should be like this or it should be like this only. No, there is nothing like that. We'll be giving you only averaging. We'll be telling you why certain people are being selected. Okay, whenever a company wants certain people, what it does, it sends out what is called as a job description. You know what is job description? Have you heard of what is this JD or job description? Simply the name tells you that JD or job description means this is the particular role for which a company is going to appoint you. These are the works that you have to do once you get the job. Understood? Job description means the description that is given in writing to you. Right? So what the company wants the most suitable person for that particular job description. They don't want overqualified people. They don't want underqualified people. An interviewer wants only the right person for the right job. If you are overqualified, if you have too much of qualifications, still you are not suitable for it. If you have to kill a mosquito, if you bring a cricket bat, what it means? A cricket bat can kill a mosquito. Right? It can kill, but will you use a cricket bat to kill a mosquito? No. Suppose no mosquito is, if I ask him to kill that, he takes a cricket bat and gives a shot on your face, what happens? Your nose will get broken, blood will start coming, and you would have told, Kosu, it's okay, mosquito natangi gra. There you say that you don't kill the mosquito, let it be there. Am I right? Yes or no? Same thing is what an HR manager will feel. An HR manager will feel that overqualified persons might create more problems for the organization. Am I right? It will create more problems. So what we want? We want the most suitable person for that particular job. Right? So you have to prove that you are the most suitable person for the job for you to get the job. You don't need to prove that you are a cricket bat. You need to prove that you can kill mosquitoes. That's enough. Is that clear? Anything you want me to explain again, I'll tell you. So, why I am telling you all these things is that I want you to keep all these things in your mind when you go for interviews. Okay? So that you can perform the best. And the objective of attending the interview is not to prove yourself to be the best, but to get the job. When you attend an interview, you should keep in mind that the only point that you should remember is that you should get the job, not to impress anybody. You never need to take strain to impress anybody in your life. That is my policy. Don't try to impress people. Don't try to keep impressing people. Keep doing your job. The rest of the things will automatically come. Concentrate on your job. Love your job. Okay? Like you love your girlfriend or boyfriend. Love your job. Whatever your job says you should do. Like whatever your girlfriend says you do. Right? She will ask you to buy an ice cream. What you will do? You will buy the costliest ice cream and give her now. No. So whatever, same way, love your job. Whatever your job says, do more than that to the best. But that you don't need to do in such a way that you are going to impress people. You don't need to impress anybody. If you do the job properly, if you love your job properly, automatically things will come to you. Is that clear? Why I am telling you all these things as a preface to my session is that once you start interacting now, once you get a job or once you go for an interview, what a person looks for you is not anything else than all these things. If you go for an interview, if you reach the stage where you are going to attend an interview, the HR person sitting here is responsible for you. Once he gives you an appointment order, his boss will ask him, why did you appoint this particular person? See, he is not doing anything good job. The HR managers are paid in lakhs per month. Okay, why they are paid so much, Because their job is to find the right candidate. A HR manager of a software company is paid in lakhs per month because his job is to find out the right person suitable for the right job. Yes. So if you prove to be a wrong person, the HR manager will be questioned. He will be fired and he will be thrown off. Obviously. Right? Yes or no? So what he will do? He will keep finding out whether you are the right person or not. If he finds you suitable, 80 to 90%, 90 to 95%, he'll take you. That's it. So all these things are those things that you have to keep in mind before you go for an interview. Okay? Is that okay? So we'll begin with the different types of interviews. All these are different types of interviews, but the preparation for interviews for all these things are in their own phase. That means that when you prepare for a telephonic interview, virtual interview, in-person interview, or an interview in a panel or a group discussion, whether you be the only candidate or whether there are more number of candidates, where there are more number of interviewers, all these things makes a panel. Okay. There is a difference between one-to-one interview, that is only one person at the other end, and the candidate. Virtual interviews are totally different. Telephonic interviews, more different. Your body language does not matter in a telephonic interview. Right? Your facial expressions do matter in one-to-one or panel interviews, or even to certain extent in virtual interviews. Your dressing does not matter in telephonic interviews. You can be in your casual dress when you're attending a telephonic interview. Right? But that does not happen when you are in other three cases. So these are the four different types basically. Types of interviews, and preparing for each of these things are completely different. Each interview you have to have your own plan, and every interview should be attended only after a good amount of preparation. And once you keep yourself prepared for the first few sets of interviews, the first interview is always difficult, most difficult interview to crack. Most difficult people to get jobs is freshers. Obvious, right? You know why? Because there is a demand and supply rule, no? When there is a demand, when supply exceeds the demand, easily you will get people, right? You will get easily freshers. But it is very difficult to get experience in particular fields because they're already well paid and they're already working in good things. So the job market also, like any other market in the world, job market also completely depends upon the theory of supply and demand. If you are the only person who knows to operate a software, you will be paid the highest amount because they will not get other people to do their job. And ultimate intention for everybody is to get the job done. Am I right? Yes or no? So these are the different types of interviews. What are the different types of interviews? Telephonic interview. Telephonic interview from the other end, the most initial screening process. Okay. Or it will be the recruitment process where the company requires large number of people. Right? For software engineering or technical interviews, you won't have telephonic interviews. Telephonic interviews are for small kind of marketing, these kind of jobs. Is that clear? All major companies will not opt these as a final interview position. Maybe they use it for screening. Initially screen they may use it. But they don't make it as a final interview. And telephonic interviews are quite more easier to attend than the other things. But you have to be prepared. We'll see in the coming slides how to prepare for each of these different kinds of interviews. Right? So this is another one is a virtual. There will be Google Meet or Zoom platform. Either of these Google Meet or Zoom platform, there will be either a panel of people sitting on the other side, they'll be asking you a few questions and you need to answer that. Okay? So interview is nothing but questioning and answering directly, like what you do for biology. The people on the other side want to test your knowledge and ability for a particular kind of job. So they use the telephonic and virtual interviews are usually conducted when the companies are not in the nearest location for the candidate to reach. Or else they do it on holidays or they do it on their times. When the officers are working and so on. Or the location is much far away from the candidate or a set of candidates. Okay. We have one-to-one interviews. The most efficient way of selecting people is one-to-one for both the sides. Both for the candidate and for the recruiter. Okay. Both for the candidate and the recruiter, in-person interviews. This kind of interviews will be the best. A panel is where a group of people will be questioning. Different people will have different opinions. You need to know how you manage a team when you work in panel interviews. So, in panel group interviews, there will be a set of different people, they will be questioning you, and one question, each person will have different idea, different answers. No question in the world will have same answers for more than 10 people when it is based on opinion, right? When I ask you one opinion, why panel interview is important? Opinions differ. Okay. They'll ask you one question. Your answer may be right for some people but not right for others. Each person will have different point of view. So you should be capable enough to balance all these things. Right? If there are more number of peoples in interview, more number of people. The word peoples is wrong, okay? If there are more people in interview panel, you should be able to give answers that will please the majority of them. Right? Opinion matters. Your opinion about a point does not mean it is the same as my opinion. It keeps changing. So when it comes to a panel, what we do is that we do interviews, we take the average scores and we select them. Okay, for one question, one person may put 100 marks for you and another person may put 0 marks on the same thing. Okay, so you need to understand how you are going to manage a panel, how you are going to manage a team. This also reflects on your capability to work as a good leader. If you wanted to work with a good team, you want to build an excellent software and so on, you need a good team and you need to manage with all these people. So you need to know how to bring about an environment where you are able to balance all these things. It is one of the most difficult jobs in life. You need to manage people, right? So the panel discussion may help us, a panel interview may help us learn how you work in a team the most efficient manner. Okay. So as we go on, if I am given another class, I will teach you or I will how to perform better. There is no correct or wrong answers. There is no right or wrong answers. Okay. The only thing is that how much is right or how much is wrong. Next, how to prepare for interviews. Now, I told you in the first slide what is meant by an interview, what are the interview skills that is required, and so on. Right? The second slide, the second thing I told you, the different types of interviews. So, in the second slide, we have seen what are the different kinds of interviews. Right? Now, we'll see the first step towards how we are going to prepare for an interview. Right? One of the common mistakes what most of the people do is they make one standard resume and they keep on sending to every company the same resume. There is no wide amount of changes. Okay. You have not read the job description, you don't know how the company is working, what kind of business they are doing, what are their clients. Yesterday I got a call from a company, they are ready to give 1 lakh salary for BE computer science freshers. 1 lakh salary per month, not per year, per month for BE computer science freshers. But the company wants the candidates to know either Japanese or German language also. I have not sent a message to our groups because I don't believe that there is anybody who knows Japanese or German in our team. If you have learned German, in many schools in Chennai, they've started teaching French. Have you heard of that news? There are so many schools which are teaching at least one more foreign language to the students in school. Either French, German, or Japanese. And if there is anybody who knows Japanese in your connections, you can tell me. I'll give them a job which is going to give them 1 lakh per month salary. It is not difficult to learn these languages, but what I mean to say is that if a company has more clients in different places, one of my friend, his name is Santosh, he worked at Capgemini as a senior software developer. He was asked to learn Korean because he was asked to go to Korea. They gave him a small training in Korean language. Because that company, that position, they wanted to have some discussion with some Korean clients. Okay? Is that okay? So, each company will have its own base. Okay? Do you know Mercedes Benz Gold from which company? Benz. Benz car you have heard, no? From where? From which country is the origin of Benz? Audi. Which country? German cars. Germany is most famous country for the manufacture of automobiles. Benz, Audi, BMW, Hyundai from Korea, Tata Motors from India, Tata and Maruti are Indian products. So, although in a globalized, liberalized world, globalization means globalization means the entire world is a village. Global na entire globe, whole globe is considered to be a village. It means that You can do business in anywhere, any country. That is called as liberalization, globalization, and so on. That means you don't have import or export duties, right? You can sell the product that you make from India to any other country. That is where you do any kind of trade. That country will not charge you import duties. This is called as free trade. So an MNC, a multinational company or big companies will have an origin and they'll be having offices anywhere in the world. Okay, based upon the country requirements. Okay. So this is called as company research. You should be able to understand what kind of business is the company doing, right? So that you can know your suitability for the job. If you feel that you are not suitable, don't try for that. Put your energy in some other domain. See, one thing I'll tell you, one of the common mistakes what most of the students make is that if there is a company which has announced a job description, you feel that you have to apply for that because of the brand name of the company. You start studying for some things that you are not expertised in. You waste your time and energy on that. Right? Don't put such efforts. Always focus on your strengths in the domains where you are very strong in. You concentrate on that. You have been learning Python for 2 years. You got a job interview in Java. The company is a big company, they are giving you a heavy salary. Do not invest your time. Do not invest your time. Do not invest your time in studying Java again, dropping the Python. Go to the other area and spend so much of time because by the time you make everything ready, maybe the company changes different roles or there may be different opportunities coming up. So always concentrate more on strengthening your skills, the things in which you are already specialized with, where you can give better answers. Don't run behind opportunities, make opportunities come behind you. That is a better option. Okay, that's always better. As I told you, in no case everything can be 100% true or 100% false. Okay, so next few points on interview skills. After this, I'll continue these slides in the next session also. Okay, now I'll give you a brief about what are the things that you need to start preparing for your interviews. Okay. The first point I've mentioned here is that resume. Basically, resume is the first point of communication between you and your prospective employer. So, whenever you ask for a job to anybody, the first thing they are going to say is that send me your resume. Am I right? Yes or no? Everywhere, the first point of communication between you and the rest of all those people who are going to help you to get a job. It could be a company, it could be HR, it could be your teachers, it could be your friends, whoever it is. Suppose your friend is working in a company, you would like to work in that same company. What you would do? First thing what you would do is that you have to prepare your resume and send it to him, right? Yes or no? So, in every place, the first important document that you are going to give, written document, written communication that you are going to give to the company is resume. 99% of people take resume to be very light affair. They simply copy these things from your friends. They write things which they don't know. They make your resume very complicated. In the first two stages of screening, in the quantitative aptitude stage and maybe even in the group discussion stage, your resume may not matter that much, right? Because they are not going to see your resume. But when it comes to interview, everything lies on your resume. And resume is the deciding factor. Keep this point in mind. Resume is the deciding factor whether you are selected or rejected. So you need to take some time, and based on the previous slide I told you, know, you need to have a small three important points. What are the three important points we spoke about in the previous slide? Company research, understand about the company, understand about the job, understand about the skills required. These three things you should understand before you reach the point where you are going to get interviewed. Whenever you are going to get interviewed, you should keep these points in mind that your interview will begin always with your resume only. 99% of the interviews, the first thing that you are asked to explain is about yourself. And most people get the job or lose the job based on the first 2 to 3 minutes of interviewing. I'll tell you one secret, the secret that you should not share to anybody. Most of the interviews, even if it is taking 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or half an hour, within 5 minutes itself, they would have decided whether you are selected or rejected. In their mind, it would have been fixed. Right? And sometimes, if the interview is taking longer, it may be like this that although they feel that you should be rejected, is there any chance with which we can give him a positive result? So that will reduce your chances, because the next person comes to you, next person who comes for the interview, in front of the interviewer, he performs in a much better manner, he naturally would be tempted to reject you. Am I right? So taking long times in interview doesn't mean that you are being selected. Selection or rejection may be the interviewer might be having a small confusion. He might have rejected you, but he might be rethinking whether there is any possibility of pushing you inside. But basically, 90% of the decision is done within first 5 minutes of interviewing. And in this first 5 minutes, there is no much technical skills that you will be asked with. Purida, you won't be, except for purely technical interviews, in most of the interviews, they begin with about how far you are flexible to the environment where you can work. That is the most important point that everybody is looking for. See, when you have a work to be done, what you will do, I'll give you an example, okay? It's purely example. Don't take it in your mind. What is your name? Jyotika. Your name? Raja? Rajavi. What is your name? Huh? Sriman. Suppose Sriman has to make a drawing. Imagine that Sriman has to make a drawing. He has a work. He wanted to make the image of a person or something like that. He is in good friendship with both these girls. He knows that one girl will do the job better than the other. Okay. Say, Jyoti can draw much better than Rajal. He knows it. But when one time he asked you and you said, no, it is not possible for me. I'm busy. I'm busy. I am not working. Or I am at my native also. He will be tempted to approach the next person. Next time onwards, he will prefer directly approaching her than coming through you. Am I right? Next work he gets, I am his boss, for example. I am telling that tomorrow morning I want this diagram, you have to submit this to me. Right? He has approached you. You said, no, I am in my native place. My cousin is there, he's sick and so on. So I cannot do that job. You are telling him some or the other reason. But she is doing it. You are doing it more perfect than her. But still, the next time, what he will do, he will be more tempted to ask the second option than the first option. Although first option does a better job than the first. You understand why? All these things make us feel that you should be dynamic. These are called as soft skills. What I told you in general fall under the broad domain of soft skills, wherein people should be capable of approaching you for a job to be done. That is where you become a better employee. You understand me? All of you? This is a nature of people. This is called as being dynamic, being approachable. Right? A few rejections will make other people not enough friendly with you. That's how you work in teams. That's how you become more suitable for jobs. Right? So everything starts with resume. In your resume, you should include both soft skills and hard skills. Soft skills, generally people make mistake by writing all what they do. Team player, I am an individual worker, I am a leader, I am this thing, that thing. So many things you write. In the beginning of my session, I told you that interviews, they do not select the best person, but they select the most suitable person. You don't need to include all the skills that you don't have also. Sometimes if you are an introvert, you cannot speak too much. You don't need to include communication skills at all. But still you have chances of getting jobs. It is not compulsory that every human being should have every skill. Am I right? You don't need to be extraordinary person. You need to give what you are in your resume. Exactly this is what I have learned. You don't need to give anything that you are not. You don't need to write that I am very good in English or I am very good in that language or I am very good in communicating. I can do so many other things. You don't need to write that. You need to write in your resume only what you are originally. How dynamic you are. Okay? Is that clear? So this resume is where you are being questioned with. It is from this resume that people start questioning you. Okay? So in the next session, I will be telling you what are the common questions and how you are going to answer these common questions. Next class, next Thursday, I think, I will be giving you questions and answers, and we'll be conducting a few mock interviews. Okay. So, why I'm telling you this is because I would like to see your resume in the next class. I want all of you to prepare a soft copy, get it printed, come with a hard copy for the next session on Thursday. Is that okay? Keep in mind that you have to come with your resume so that I can evaluate your resume also. Okay. So apart from your soft skills, and the next thing, what we are going to study is your projects. Academic and non-academic, whatever it is, you have done some projects outside. Anything, whatever you have done, you can include in your resume, but it should be something that you have done. All major and minor projects, whatever you have done, can be included in your resume. Why do you want to include the projects in your resume? Why do I insist that? So the next point, yes, okay. So next point is that, so the next point I wanted to discuss is that about the projects. See, doing a project is something that is not easily possible by everybody. Only professional colleges, engineering and medicine, and these people can do projects. Projects will expose you to the real-time world. Okay, real-time world now where the companies are really working on projects. Every company is working only on projects. So if I wanted to recruit you, I should know on what are the projects that you have already worked with. So that I can tell you he knows this much of Python, he knows this much of Java, he knows this much of this thing. Even if it is for managerial aspects, I have done one project. Even a managerial project you can include in your projects in a separate heading. If you have coordinated an event, okay, you are proving yourself that you have done a good job. You have become a good manager. You have got certificate. You have project management experience. Right? So, your projects are very, very key points which a person might look if he is interested in recruiting you. Is that okay? Next is your online presence or public profile. This is a very important aspect. Next point, what I would like to discuss with you is about your public profile. Your public profile is something that you are not going to get edited today. It will be there for years together. Right? What you have done in college, what you have done after college, what you have done in the first job, what are the things that you will be doing in the coming jobs. All these things make your public profile. It should be completely aloof from your other ideologies. You should not use your public profile for any kind of religious purpose, any kind of politics, or any kind of vandalism, and so on. You should never criticize others or anything in your public profiles. You should not support any political party or any religious organization or even the other organizations. Right? You should be completely apolitical, and you should have no religious sentiments working out in your public profile. At the same time, you should have an excellent public profile also. You should be able to post all the works that you are doing in your public profile. There are two things. One is your LinkedIn profile, the other one is your GitHub repository. How many of you are having GitHub accounts? One, two. Others? So the next session, next class, I'll help you create a GitHub account also. All your projects can be saved in these GitHub repositories which can be viewed publicly. Anybody can do that, right? So this will show how efficient you are. This will show the details of the projects that you have already done or you are doing, right? And if I don't do training, if I don't do teaching for a few days, I will forget how to teach. You understand? 10 days I am not going to classes, I am not teaching. I lose my efficiency as a teacher. So learning is a continuous process. You have to keep doing it every day to improve yourself. Is that okay? So don't stop with the projects what you have done. You have to keep doing projects even if you don't have any job. If there is nobody is giving you projects, you have to keep doing it. Only then you will get used to doing projects. So you need a continuous improvement in your career, and your career is not something that is going to have a full stop at one particular point of time. Is that okay? Your career begins from your LKG, UKG to the last moment, even the moment before you die, your career is keeping on advancing. Okay? So what you have to do is that you have to be very cautious of that. You have to have continuous improvements. It is not that I have finished this, I got this. If you get a job, things are not over. It is only going to start. Okay? So you need to have a mindset with which you are going to work continuously without any rest. You should develop that mindset in the sense that you should not ask for breaks in your career, in your life, in your classes, everywhere. Because it is a continuous process. It is going to affect things very badly. And your continuous developments can be always noted in your public profiles like LinkedIn. Your projects can be always stored in your repositories called as GitHub. Next session, I will teach you how to create a GitHub profile, how to store your projects in GitHub, how to access it with the team, and how GitHub is going to help you control the version of the software that you're creating. Okay? Is that okay? So this is how you optimize your portfolio. What is meant by portfolio? Portfolio, Anand, what do you think is a portfolio? What is a portfolio? Yes? Website. In a way it is okay, but not the correct thing. Anybody else, any other opinion? Portfolio, what do you think is portfolio? Portfolio is a collection of all the things that you have done so far. Could be your projects in website, you put portfolio means you put all the previous projects, all the business, what you have done. Suppose you are going to start a software company which is making websites. Your portfolio means the list of all the websites that you have already created so that your clients can look into these websites and approach you for the next project. Portfolio is a collection of all the work that you have done previously so that you can be assessed. Right? Last project what you have done. So based on that we can work on your knowledge, or we can understand how far you are suitable for one kind of particular job. This is called as portfolio, and the title for the slide I have made it as optimize your portfolio. What is meant by optimization? What is meant by optimization? I believe all of you are from computing background, right? Anybody from non-computer science? All of you are from computer science background, right? From which? Agree. He means computing background. He is from computer science. Yeah. It is. See. Optimization is very important part in all. It's not just for computing, but most commonly used in computing. Optimize means the most apt value. Optimal value means the correct value. What is the optimal temperature for a human being to survive? 20 to 30 degrees, right? Yes or no? If it is beyond 30, it is more hot. If it is below 20, it is more cool. So optimizing means finding out the correct value. So in this slide, I put it as optimizing your portfolio means giving out the correct values in your portfolio. You don't need to put extra things also. You don't need to remove things that you have done also. Okay? Anything you put extra is an additional burden to your resume. Do not copy your friend's resume and change all the necessary things. Make your own resume. Okay? Instead of spending your life or instead of spending so many years on rejection of your resumes or no response for your resumes, the most important complaint that I get from most of the candidates is that their resumes are not at all responded. You are sending a resume, it is not at all being taken care of. Nobody is addressing that. Right? Instead of spending so much of energy by simply emailing your resume, which is not responded, take some time and prepare a very, very good resume. Okay? Preparing a resume has a very important impact on the performance, completely on the performance. Okay, don't think it is a waste of time or energy. Nobody is going to recruit you based on your friend's profile, right? Especially when both of you have been sending the same resume, same places, it does not happen. What you have to do is you have to do some hard work. You can use the format by anybody. Formats are there available. So many types of formats are available both in Word, Excel, Overleaf, and so on. So many kinds of templates are available, but it's always the template is okay, but the content should be yours. Your skills should be there, and your resume should have true you. Is that okay? Next point is primarily focusing on computing people, okay? Not exactly on the others, maybe. I'm not sure how far it's going to work with others, but in general, it's focusing on computer science people. So, in technical interviews, this is the basic format which is usually followed. And see, all these things, I'm telling you because these are the common things. There might be changes in this. This is not a standard one, or this is not a fixed one. These are the common ones. That means in most cases it is like that. But that's not the rule. Okay? So, These are basic formats. Your technical interview initially will have 1, 2, 3, and 4 kinds of assessments. The first one is your coding ability, how far you are using your brain, how your logic is being used for creating required outputs. The first part is all about your coding skills. Okay? You should understand the problem. Coding can be tricky or not tricky. Sometimes it can be direct questions. Sometimes very tricky questions. Okay, I'll give you an example. Say A is equal to 5. I'm giving you a coding example, okay? B is equal to, see here, B is equal to 10. Okay? B is equal to, B plus equal to 5. Okay? Print A. What is the output? Imagine it is a Python program. Tell me what is the output? 5, right? But most people write 15 because the coding steps are given like that. A is equal to 5, B is equal to 10, B plus is equal to 5, then print A. Okay. When I'm talking about this inside the class, maybe you are in a comfortable position, you don't have much to think, so it is okay. But when you're writing an exam, it might not be the same way your mind works. Most people, what they do is that they write the answer as 50. I've given this question and very commonly I get the answer output as 15. It is not their mistake because they've overlooked what happened with it's whether B or A is not being clear with them. And why should all the operation is done with B? Why do you want to print A is what people think commonly. Right? So these are tricky questions. There may be tricky questions, there might be non-tricky questions also. Direct questions are very simple questions also. And coding, they may ask output of these things, they may give you some problems or they give you some challenges to be done. How, what kind of algorithm you can use to solve a particular set, all these things can be done. Okay, so this is an important initial part of all this thing. Your technical skills, screening part, first thing is your coding skills. And you need to emphasize, all computing background students should emphasize on improvising your coding skills. Without coding skills, you cannot survive in this world. Then about system design. See, there might be so many other areas where you need to concentrate. Okay. Your system design, how far you are capable of designing particular. Suppose you are asked for requirements of a project. Okay, you have done some system design, so you know that what are the things are required for each of these things. And what happens if certain things are not available. You can design the architecture. Some questions will be based on, technical questions will be based on that. Relational database management systems, RDBMS, and so on. For computing background, it is RDBMS and so on. Okay. Then your behavioral and experience based questions. I told you that your project plays a major role in your selection or rejection. It's a deciding factor in your interviews. Okay. So your behavioral factors are also playing a major role. The example I told you previously, now, it plays a major role. It's a behavioral problem. Your behavior, how you are able to behave, how you are able to adapt to environments. These things are extremely important for you to crack through the interviews. So these are the areas you need to keep preparing. Okay. When I'm telling you all these things, these are the areas you need to keep preparing. You need to solve problems. You need to learn how to improve your behavioral pattern or how to make your behavior in such a way that you are more suited for this kind of jobs. Right? So in technical interviews, you need to have these coding skills. You need to know how a system design works. You need to have good behavioral skills. And finally, presentation skills. I'll club these behavioral and presentation skills together and I'll give you a few examples. And in most cases, what happened is that if a question is being asked, the question is not properly listened. And you ask the questioner to repeat the question again. Okay? Sir, I did not understand. Can you repeat the question? It's not good. என்ன சொன்னீங்க புரியல கவனிக்கணும் means that you have to send your improve your listening skills to that level that you should not be asked you should not ask some things to be repeated when it is being clearly told to you. So that is a very important listening skill. Presentation means how you give the answers for the questions that you have understood. I've been the board member of several software companies for this process of interviewing. I have seen many times people are acting as if they don't know. They did not understand the question. So you should keep this point in mind that you should be able to listen properly and you should be able to give proper answers. Never try to hide things or never try to do overacting or anything like that. Never try to act as if you did not understand the question. That is only negative for you. In interviews, they don't give any negative remarks in your interview. They simply accept you or reject you. No question of giving any comments. No interview, they'll tell you what they'll say. They will not say that you are rejected. They'll say that we'll inform you later. That means you are rejected. They won't tell you that you are rejected. What they'll tell you is that we'll inform you later. That means that you are rejected. Except in very few cases. They are always polite and humble to you because they have no commitment towards you. You are an outside person. As long as you are not appointed, you are an outside person. They did not be hostile to you. They did not fire you, they did not correct you. Teachers are not like that. Our duty is to put you in the right path. So we'll correct you, we'll scold you. But an interviewer will not scold you. You know why? Because he's not bothered about it. He's only bothered whether he's selecting you or rejecting you. He will always speak polite, he'll always speak with love, he will always keep you entertained and he'll keep you in a good mood and go away. Because they don't have any need to correct you. In the Mari, you should not answer interview, they won't tell you. Teachers will tell you, they'll scold you. Because they're bothered about it. But interviewers are not bothered. They don't need to bother you. If I am an interviewer, I will not also not bother. Okay, sir, nice meeting you, very good. you have done a very good job, your performance is very good, everything they'll tell you in a good fashion and they'll say you are rejected. Because they want to keep your spirits high, that's all. Their business is not to correct you, their business is only to select the right person. Is that okay? So you should keep these points in mind. Never act, show any drama anywhere. Never act as if you did not understand. If you don't know, or if you are not clear with the answer, you can put whatever you are, the straightforward, very clear manner. The more transparent you are, the more chances that you get selected. In one of my previous experiences, I went for a fresher hiring with some of my students. One student in his resume has written he knows Hindi. He put simply he knows Hindi. Apart from all the other points, the interviewer asked him, to what extent you know Hindi? He said, I am well versed in Hindi. Do you read Hindi poems? Tell me your favorite poet. Gone. Did you read any Hindi? I know Hindi reading is what he has put. He never expected that there will be a question based on that. In reality, he didn't know Hindi. So, what is the recent thing you have read? You don't read Hindi. Now, is there anything that recent books or anything that you have read? His hobbies also mentioned that he enjoys reading books. So, which is the latest Hindi book that you have read? He doesn't know even a single Hindi book, so what he can tell? So, he's proved that he's a liar in front of the panel, interview panel. Instead, if he has not written this Hindi at all, maybe there won't be any kind of problems for him. He might be very comfortable, right? So that's why I would like to tell you very clearly that do not write so many things in your resume. I've seen most of the resumes write Windows 95, Windows 2000, okay, Microsoft, Excel, Word, so many other things which you are not very familiar with. Instead of increasing your chances of getting job, it is going to decrease your chances of getting the job. So ensure that your resume is properly written and only truth is written in your resume. Don't write things that you don't know. Okay. So with this, I think my session, first session on interview skills, I can wind up. Now it is for you to ask me questions on whatever I've discussed with you so far. Now this is our discussion time and you can ask me any kind of questions. Do you have any questions to ask? You can ask now. I am open to you. No questions? Nobody? Please come out. Be interactive. So thank you all. Thank you very much for listening to me. If you have any questions, you can send me a WhatsApp message or you can give me a call or I'll be available in my cab. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you very much for listening. Next class, we'll be doing two important things. One, I'll teach you how to create a GitHub profile, a new GitHub profile. Next one is about interviews, questions on interviews and mock interviews. No, next point, what I will be doing in the next class is first thing is about GitHub. Second one, I'll prepare a set of questions and its most suitable answers, and we'll have a discussion on that. Is that fine? So thank you, thanks a lot.